There is a fragile moment in every human life when the structure of composure can no longer carry the weight of suppressed feeling. The voice trembles. The breath shortens. The carefully constructed personality, the one shown to colleagues, friends, even lovers, begins to crack, and in that fracture something older than pride, older than logic, pushes forward. This person broke down, not strategically, not to gain sympathy, not to manipulate a narrative, but because the tension between what they feel and what they allow themselves to feel became unbearable. And in that unguarded moment, when the conscious mind loosened its grip, your name surfaced. Understand what this means. The human psyche is layered. We are not only what we present to the world. Beneath the persona lies the shadow, the denied fears, the unspoken desires, the longing we consider too dangerous to admit. And beneath even that, there is the deeper center of the self, where attachments are not chosen by logic, but formed by resonance. When someone collapses emotionally, it is rarely about the immediate circumstance. The tears may be triggered by stress, conflict, exhaustion. What escapes the mouth in that collapse reveals what the soul has been holding in silence. Your name did not appear because it was convenient. It appeared because it lives within them. When a person is overwhelmed, the psyche reaches for its anchor. It searches for the symbol of safety, meaning, or unresolved desire. In moments of despair, we call for what feels essential. That essential thing, in that instant, was you. This does not always mean the story is simple. Love is rarely simple. Sometimes the breakdown is born from longing, sometimes from guilt, sometimes from regret, sometimes from the unbearable pressure of loving someone they believe they cannot fully have. But the unconscious does not lie in collapse. When the defenses dissolve, truth leaks out. You must understand the magnitude of speaking a name while breaking. It is not casual speech. It is not social politeness. It is the psyche confessing what it prioritizes when control disappears. This person may have appeared distant. They may have acted composed, even indifferent, may have hidden behind humor, silence, or practicality. But emotional breakdown is the great revealer. It exposes attachment that pride tries to bury. When your name emerged, it meant you are psychologically significant. You are not peripheral in their inner world. You are central enough that their vulnerability gravitates toward you. Consider how difficult it is for many people to break down in front of someone. It requires the collapse of ego. It requires surrender. And in that surrender, they revealed where their heart is entangled. It is possible they themselves were shocked. Often, individuals do not consciously admit how deeply someone has penetrated their inner life. They convince themselves they are fine, rationalize distance. They suppress emotion in the name of strength. But the unconscious keeps score, and when pressure builds, it speaks. Your name was not summoned by logic. It was summoned by need. Need is a dangerous word. It implies dependence. It implies vulnerability. And many people fear needing someone because it threatens their autonomy. Yet in breakdown, autonomy dissolves. What remains is raw attachment. Perhaps they had been fighting this attachment. Perhaps they tried to redefine it as friendship, habit, or nostalgia. Perhaps they convinced themselves it was over, that they had moved on, that you were no longer emotionally relevant. But collapse tells a different story. The psyche does not cry out for what it has truly released. It cries out for what still matters. There is something archetypal about calling a name in distress. Throughout history, humans have invoked the beloved in moments of fear, grief, and transformation. It is instinctive. Beloved becomes an inner figure, a source of grounding, comfort, or unresolved tension. When your name came out, it meant you are internalized within them. You exist not only as a memory, but as a living presence in the eye. Ear psychic structure. That is profound. This does not automatically guarantee harmony. It does not promise immediate union or clarity, but it reveals depth, and depth is not easily fabricated. Many relationships operate on the surface, shared interests, attraction, convenience. But when someone breaks down and your name surfaces without intention, it indicates something embedded far below surface-level interaction. It suggests you represent something emotionally formative. Perhaps you are the one who saw them without judgment. Perhaps you are the one who awakened parts of them they had long suppressed. Perhaps you are the mirror in which they glimpsed their truest self. When emotional defenses fail, we call for the one who feels like home, or the one who unsettles us because they matter too much. Your name emerged because it carries emotional charge. Emotional charge is energy, and energy binds. It is important to reflect carefully on this. Do not romanticize blindly, but do not dismiss it either. A breakdown strips performance away. In that stripped moment, authenticity bleeds through. If your name appeared, it means you occupy a sacred or unresolved space in their inner world. There is a difference between thinking about someone and needing them in collapse. Many people think about many individuals throughout the day, but when distress strikes, only the most psychologically. Significant figures surface spontaneously. You were that figure. This indicates attachment that may have been denied or hidden. Sometimes people fear the intensity of what they feel. They minimize it. They avoid confrontation. They distract themselves. They build narratives of independence. But emotional truth resists suppression. It waits for weakness to reveal itself. Weakness arrived. Their voice trembled. Their structure cracked. Their carefully managed identity faltered. And in that sacred rupture, they reached, consciously or not, for you. It means you are woven into their emotional architecture. You must also understand that breakdown is not always about romantic bliss. Sometimes it carries sorrow, sometimes regret, sometimes fear of loss, sometimes the pain of distance. But regardless of the flavor of emotion, the presence of your name indicates relevance. You matter in a way that bypasses calculation. The psyche is honest when it is exhausted. When someone is exhausted enough to break, pretense loses strength, and what remains is raw longing or attachment. This is not a small thing. To live in someone's unconscious as the name that escapes in distress means you have crossed beyond ordinary connection. It suggests intimacy of the soul, whether fulfilled or complicated. There may be confusion in them. Conflict between what they want and what they belie is possible. Fear of vulnerability, fear of rejection, fear of dependency. But collapse temporarily dissolves fear. In that moment, only truth breathes. And truth spoke your name. It is important for you to hold this knowledge with maturity. Do not weaponize it. Do not inflate your ego with it, but recognize its psychological weight. Being the name that emerges in emotional crisis means you symbolize something essential in their inner life. You might symbolize safety. You might symbolize love they are afraid to admit. You might symbolize unfinished emotional business. You might symbolize the part of themselves they feel most authentic around. Whatever the case, it is not accidental. The unconscious selects carefully. When the heart fractures, it does not scatter randomly. It seeks gravity. You are gravity to them. That gravity could be comforting or terrifying for them, because to acknowledge it fully would require confronting their vulnerability. Many people fear admitting who truly matters. But breakdown bypasses pride. It exposes the emotional hierarchy, and you were near the top. When someone utters a name through tears, that name carries emotional voltage. It is charged with meaning accumulated over time. Conversations, shared silences, glances, memories, unsaid words. Those accumulated moments condensed into one spontaneous utterance. That utterance was a confession tiant. Conscious mind might still resist. In the architecture of the psyche, certain individuals become inner figures, almost archetypal representations of love, loss, protection, or transformation. Your name, emerging, suggests you have become such a figure. That is not light. It is heavy with significance. It means your presence altered them. Perhaps you awakened vulnerability in someone who prides themselves on strength. Perhaps you stirred desire in someone accustomed to emotional control. Perhaps you reminded them of parts of themselves they thought were lost. Emotional collapse is often the moment when suppressed transformation demands acknowledgement, and in that threshold moment they reached toward you. This tells you something about the bond, whether spoken or silent. It means the connection lives beyond surface interaction. It lives in the depth, and what lives in the depths cannot be erased by temporary distance or rational denial. It waits, it breathes, it surfaces when control slips. Your name surfaced. That is not coincidence. That is revelation. And revelation, once witnessed, cannot be undone.